Hello and welcome at Essential Oils Library for members. And here we have another live call with Leonie Blackwell. I'm very excited to interview Leonie because I had her once, actually at the beginning of this year, for tapping, and tapping changed for me a lot. Not only how I felt in my physical body, but as well my emotional well-being. When I was stressed out about something, when I had anxious feelings, I just did few rounds of tapping and I was so calm. And of course, it's not only about one thing, it's about so many more. Our body's whole. It's a puzzle. So I always say nothing will heal our body, only our thoughts, our emotions, how we feel. So Leonie is from Australia, so we had to figure out the time. So they have morning right now, and Leonie she has 24 years of experience as naturopath. She has published 2 books. She has amazing courses, again, about tapping, and today she's gonna be talking about vagus nerve. Leonie, welcome, and thank you for finding the time and coming to share with us what you're up to today.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, because it's very exciting to be able to share things like the vagus nerve and the tapping with people, because as you said, our whole body, we've got to cater for that mental, emotional and, well, spiritual and physical. We need to cater and find things that enable us to, bring balance to everything so that we can be resilient and strong and healthy and well and enjoy our lives. So it's wonderful to be here. So thank you for the opportunity to share this.
Mm-hmm. So would you want to share with us, how did you actually start with tapping and vagus nerve? Tell us a little bit of a story about it.
Yeah, for sure. So as a naturopath, as you said, 24 years of being in business, that's, which is fairly amazing. I can't believe where all the time has gone, in all honesty. So as a naturopath, as a human being, realistically, let's not even give me the label of the naturopath. As a human being, I've always strived to find answers, information, solutions to things. I'm always looking for more and trying to go deeper and deeper and understand things. And a lot of that stemmed from why I became a naturopath, because I was quite sick. And to be able to heal myself, I really needed to go on a big journey myself through that emotional, mental, physical reality of, and in fact, there was a whole spiritual component as well, which is a whole other story, but a whole journey. So I've really brought that with me and continued on throughout my career to constantly search for more and more and more. Wherever I see anything going on with my clients, I think, okay, there's another angle, there's another depth, there's another way to work with this. Then I go in search for that. So that took me through. So I started out with flower essences, essential oils, naturopathy, massage, all of those kinds of things. And then that took me into the tapping. And of course, my most recent thing is to learn about the vagus nerve stimulation. And I think for me, what attracted me to it immediately was what I'm attracted to. My intuition just goes, hang on, I think there's something in that, I need to explore it. So that was the first peak of, okay, what is this? And when I got there and I began to listen to all the things it helped with, from everything from anxiety to depression, all the leaky brain, leaky lung, which is asthma, leaky gut, celiacs, all the different things that the vagus nerve can actually, if it's not working properly, can actually cause to end up as symptoms in our body. I was very much like, oh my goodness, I know why. And the big bit that really just won me over was when he said, it's for those people who get a shift and then they slide back, who take a lot longer to get a shift in their medicines or in their anything that they're taking, that they just take a lot longer to get there than other people. Or people who don't necessarily get the reaction that you would expect. So in my world, we talk about psychological reversal, and they're people who you might give them, St. John's wort and they get more depressed. That's a psychologically reversed person. They'll smell lavender and get hyped up, whereas lavender is supposed to calm them down. They'll smell, something that's more exciting, like a rosemary, and all of a sudden they fall asleep. Do you mean? So that's a psychological reversal. So it's where people are actually doing the complete opposite to what you would expect. So vagus nerve actually relates to all of that. So when someone's vagus nerve is not actually working and it's dulled down, that we'll get tired. Do you mean we'll get, so we will get fatigued. We won't respond the way we expect. And a lot of the time people will feel really frustrated with themselves. And I'm sure ever you hear this, people go, oh, I'm sabotaging myself, or what am I doing wrong? It must be me. And yet the reality is it can actually be our physical body. Our nervous system, our vagus nerve, if it's not working, will not allow us to do what it is that we consciously want to do. Our intentions won't manifest what we're looking for because our vagus nerve is just not being able to bring us back to balance. So it's a really important part, because I think for me, I'm very much into accepting our humanity, accepting that we're human beings and that we have, a brain and a nervous system and a body that has to process things. And so we need to work with that to bring about our wholeness and our healing on all levels. And to do that with punishing ourselves, beating ourselves up, blaming ourselves, and thinking that we're causing things that we may not be doing, it doesn't help us get there faster. We need to be more gentle and kind with ourselves.
That makes so much sense. Now, when you said somebody takes lavender for sleep and actually they're hyped up, now yes. I have an answer for that, because there is many people who actually can experience that. The yes. same thing, I had somebody with lime oil for energy and they fell asleep like in 10 minutes. I'm like, wow. So it's connected to vagus nerve. So that's yes. means one, and you're going to be talking about that side of nerve.
Yes.
Is it that one part of the nerve is not working?
Yeah, so that's even, this is the fun part about the science and the research. For people who love that stuff, there's like 9,000 articles in journals of being released of studies about the things that they do. So they know a lot about not just what the vagus nerve is doing, but the whole link to the stimulation of that and all the things that can help. So they've actually found that the right and left sides of the vagus nerve. So just to clarify, the vagus nerve comes out here at C1, so right at the top of our heads, which is why we actually stimulate the ear, because it's right behind where the ear, the nerves of the ear almost literally match right into the vagus nerve. So it comes down and goes all through our whole body. So
are you saying behind the ear or on the ear?
So it's coming out of the ear. So if I go behind my ear, okay. It's the C1. So right at the top where our skull is, it comes right out there. There's a whole lot of nerves that come out of there. And so the nerve that basically is a direct link inside our ear, there's a little baby bit that goes straight out into our ear right there, which is the vagus nerve. And then it comes down our neck and then it spreads out. So it comes down. So people who get really tight neck muscles and shoulder muscles, that's a vagus nerve that's not working properly. You actually do the stimulation and your neck and your shoulders will relax. Oh, so people who are living in pain and stuff, it's an immediate thing. But to go back to the right and left part, what they've actually found is that the right side is actually related to reward center in our brain. So a lot of time people talk about the dopamine. So, vagus nerve actually has a whole neurotransmitter relationship. So when we're looking at, say, weight loss and being able to maintain our weight, our ability on the right-hand side for us to actually feel a sense of reward, because we often go to emotional eating because we are trying to feel better about something. We're stressed, we're not happy, that we're fatigued, whatever it might be, but we're not getting a sense of reward out of our life. So emotional eating is a really big part. If the vagus nerve on the right-hand side is shut down, we're more likely to emotionally eat than if it's working properly. Mm. Huge. On the left-hand side is actually the vagus nerve from our gut that tells our brain that we're full and that we're satisfied. And so if we actually if the left side is not working effectively, we won't get the messages to tell us to stop eating. So for people who say they just don't really get the message that they're full until too late, because we'll eat and don't feel full and keep eating. And then by the time it does kick in to say we're full, we're over full. It's because the left side's not working effectively. So it's important to do both sides, because just down around weight issues, both sides have a direct link to the gut, to the brain, to help us manage our weight.
Wow. So you see, for those of you who are watching now and you just cannot lose those 2 or 3 pounds.
Yes.
There is an answer for you. Yes. So simple.
Simple.
Leonie is going to go more into that, how that works, what you need for that, and so on. She has amazing courses. She has amazing tapping courses as well. Leonie, your 2 books, I know I'm jumping to a different topic, but your 2 books are connected to tapping? Or
Yes.
what are
So
they?
I'll just do a little, this is what they look like. So this book is very much around understanding the patterns in our lives and where a lot of our emotional stuff has come from, okay? And in there, I actually talk about a thing that I call the need-fear cycle, and it talks about how our brain, that emotional brain back here, and the limbic system, and how it actually processes and searches for answers and keeps repeating the same patterns over and over. And as part of that, I then created the box of inner secrets, which has actually got a set of cards with all the different emotions, all of our needs on them, and then the fear that's triggered if that need's not met. And inside that, there's actually a book that then has all the tapping scripts so people can start working on clearing the emotions attached to the unmet need.
What an amazing tool. And why I brought it up, because many of my clients who used to train with me or had nutrition coaching with me, or even with oils, I was always talking about not only physical body, because people worked out, people ate healthy, and they still were struggling, or they had some kind of physical or emotional pain. And that's why they didn't have results. And here's such a simple tool, vagus nerve, or just having the cards and doing tapping, and people will drop that weight, or they will get rid of pain, or they will feel more energy. And I've experienced it myself. So thank you for that. So I'm excited even about that box. That sounds like such a great tool.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Let's go into the vagus nerve. So what do they need if they want to
let's do another show and tell.
I love that.
Okay, so do I. I'm quite visual when it comes to that sort of stuff. So this is the amazing thing. I know a lot of people will have a TENS machine sitting at home. A lot of people have heard of TENS machines and they're well aware of them, and they've often had them to deal with some aches and pains in their body, all right? So it's exactly the same TENS machine that a physio would tell someone to get, and you know, they're not expensive. You can get, you know, something like this can cost not a lot of money. So it's not like, oh, I've got to spend $1,000 to be able to do this technique on myself. You just don't. That's the beautiful thing. This is do it at home. It's simple, it's easy, it's cost effective. And when you're actually able to do it at home each day, the results of what it can create are incredible. And I'd have to say, with my clients who I started with, the shifts that have been amazing. And so basically the TENS machine will have some dials up there, some couple on the inside and a couple in the middle here. That's basically gives, and I've got a document in the events that actually helps you with pictures and a list of all the words that explain what you need to know, like a pulse width, the hertz, we need some timing, and we need intensity buttons. So all that's written down if anybody's interested. So this is basically a TENS machine, and we have our little plugs that go in. And then all we need to be able to do on this side is be able to, and this is important, we need to be able to take the plug out of the pad for the normal TENS machine that you'd put on your skin to be able to clip it into, I'll do it there, to clip it into the ear clip. All right, there we go. All right, and with I'll just take this side out because I can still talk. All right, in the class, it's very hands-on. So the idea is that you need to have your TENS machine and your clips, and then I will teach you how to put them all together, where to settle the dials, and then how to use it. And the idea is that you'll know how to use it on yourself and you'll know how to use it on someone else, because most of my people in my world, and I'm, love to share when they find something amazing, they love to share it with everybody that they know. So it's simply a matter of being able to know, oops, there's a good example of what not to do, isn't it? Okay, clip it onto the ear like that, and you're clipping it inside that ear. So you're not clipping it on the outside, and you're not clipping it on that little bit inside your ear there. You're actually clipping it in the inside. Okay. So, and basically, if I take that one out, the vagus nerve sits right there. And it's interesting, I've seen some people's ears where there's almost a really hard ridge right where the vagus nerve is in their ear. It literally pops out, and when I've put them on, their vagus nerve is just really not working well. So do you mean, I think for some people it'll be fascinating to watch over time if that ridge actually gets better as the vagus nerve works better. You must always have the two clips, because one of course is grounding and one is doing the thing, and that's what you have to do. Put them on both sides, and then you turn it on. I've got to work out which side it is because I'm like that, and the machine will start, see the little light is flashing, and then you'll just feel this little buzz, and that's, you don't want it to hurt, you just need to feel a bit of a buzz. And it's interesting because the clips are quite uncomfortable when you first use them, but once your vagus nerve works better, you hardly, like right now I can't even notice them on my ears. I mean, I can because there's a little bit happening, but basically they're quite comfortable. The first time I put them on, I was like, oh, that's really uncomfortable. And everyone says the same thing. As their vagus nerve starts to work better, they actually don't find the clips uncomfortable. So that is the one thing that I would say. Children probably aren't huge fans of putting them on them, because little children aren't, don't like being uncomfortable and don't like anything that hurts. But I've put them on teenagers, and I've said to them, it will be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's worth it. So once we can understand that a little bit of pain gives us some gain, then we're old enough to be able to do it. If you've got if your little 6-year-old just goes, yeah, give it to me, I'm fine, then absolutely, you could definitely do it for them as well. But that's as simple as it is. It goes for 30 minutes as a timer. And while you're doing it, sit down, relax, and have your cup of peppermint tea, burn your essential oils, especially nice calming ones. If you relate to whatever it is that you've got going on, of course it would be, I might just turn it off because I'm doing both sides. It would be fantastic to burn essential oils that relate to the things. So when I say that, what do I mean by that? So I mean that sorry, someone just tried to get in my door there. There's 3 things that it can work on. So you can work on the brain, so the actual nervous system itself, and which is a really important place to start, because we need our brain to work so that our brain tells our body what to do, and it helps with all those leaky brain things like depression, anxiety. They've actually shown Parkinson's, MS. In fact, I got an article I saw yesterday, which I haven't finished reading, but it talked about the fact that they believe Parkinson stems from a vagal nerve malfunction from the gut. Now, from a naturopathic, we know that dopamine and serotonin and noradrenaline are all made in our guts by our gut bacteria, and they impact on telling the vagus nerve what to do back here. So, it's very interesting to think that something like Parkinson's and MS could actually be improved by being able to just simply put some clips on the ear and stimulate your vagus nerve. There's also inflammation. So anyone in pain, acute pain, chronic pain, there will be an inflammatory thing going on. So you can have there's a particular setting that you set it to, and you actually zap your ears for that, and it will help improve the inflammation. And then there's also the immune system and the organ function. So another setting actually enables you to improve the function of your body. All your organs, your thyroid, your liver, your pancreas. So when we're talking energy, we want to have our pancreas, our adrenal glands, and our thyroid working better, because that's what influences the energy all through the day. When we're looking at tone and condition and exercising and weight management, again, we want a certain amount of tone in our body, because our thyroid will burn more fat. The more toned the more muscle we have. So again, we want our thyroid working better. So imagine that if underneath the reason you haven't been able to lose weight, that underneath the reason you haven't got tone and condition in your body is because your vagus nerve is not stimulating your body effectively and bringing it back to balance. So it's a funny thing to say, we're stimulating it to work better, but once it works better, it brings you back into balance. So it's not hyping you up. The hyping up part is the sympathetic nervous system. It goes buzz, 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 and then our parasympathetic, which is our vagus nerve, comes in and says, let's bring us back to balance now. Action, balance, so that we're always in this zone that enables us to cope with life with resilience and strength. So it's fascinating, and that's what the class is about, helping people understand what those 3 settings are, how to use it, where to clip it, how to put it together, and what to do. So it's a very hands-on, practical hour class.
You know, I have so many questions that are popping up. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. So I'm pretty sure even our viewers would like to know, how often should I use that? Once I have it, how often I'm going to use it?
Yeah, so because it's 3 settings, what I say to people is do a half hour of each of the settings, like one night, do that one, then the next and the next. So basically in a week, if you rotate that through, do each of the settings twice a week and then have 1 day rest.
Oh, wow.
So you can do it sort of that way. And some people go, do I have to have a day rest? Go, do an extra one on your brain, it'll be fine. So it's, you know, it's basically, so if in a practitioner point of view, and this is why I'm teaching my clients to do this and sharing this with people, because it is such an easy thing to do at home, that basically if people were to come and pay to see a practitioner to do it, the cost and the time, it limits how often you can do it, which means that it can take longer for things to kind of, you know, completely balance out. But even at the start, they say twice a week, on the core one that's yours for the first month, and then once a week after that. So I say to people in, you know, my class, like, we all start out enthusiastically and we'll do it every day and we'll have a day break and then we'll do it again, and then a month later or something happens and we forget to do it one night, and do you mean? But even if we get down to the point where we're doing it twice a week, even once a week, is still going to be bringing balance and getting the vagus nerve to work. So if we start off enthusiastically and then we slow a little, that's perfectly fine, because anything is better than nothing. Yeah.
Okay, and that is leading me to the next question, because when you said, you know, many people say, or buy all kind of gadgets and tools and everything and go for all kind of treatments. We know we can spend so much money on so many things, and this is because this is coming from Amazon or eBay, what you probably suggest, right? You buy it. You buy it, it's yours, and then you have one-time course with Leonie. Leonie, I know you are offering this amazing price for our group of people with a discount. Actually, the price is really inexpensive, and plus you are giving to our group of people another discount. So what is the price for the course?
Yeah, so the early bird special finishes on the 21st of November, and that's $27 Australian. So for people in America and Canada, they're probably even cheaper. And, you know, I'm not sure what all the currency exchange is, but it's 27. And if people pay after the 21st of November, it's actually $47. So, yeah.
Wow, that's such a gift. And you have the tool, or people who make the investment of 27, not Canadian, not US, Australian dollars, they have it forever, really, right? They can, it's going to be recorded, or how does it work?
I will be recording it, and I'll make sure that everyone that's on the call will have the link, so you can re-watch it later as well. These are I'll make sure everyone will get a PDF, so there'll be a little flyer that explains all the things that, like all the list of all the things that helps, what all the different frequencies are that you set it up, where to find it in the ear. I often encourage people to bring the phone with them and take a picture of their ear, so afterwards they can definitely see exactly where they had it on their ear, and the settings and the protocol is all on that page, so you get a document that you're able to just use the whole time, and just, yeah, very simple from that point of view. And on the event thing, as I said, there is a link for you to be able to get access to the PDF that explains what you need, you know, on your TENS machine, and places you can buy it. So eBay in Australia, Amazon overseas, I think Canada's got a couple of places you can get the clips, and Amazon in America definitely has the clips as well. So it's very easy, and they're not expensive, and that's the best part. And as you said, you've got a tool that you can use as little or as often as you want to, because you've got it right there, and that one purchase can do your whole family. You can do all your friends. They come over for a cuppa and they complain about their headache, and you just go, oh, one moment, and you clip the ears on and you set it to the setting, and off they go. And, you know, the amazing thing is what they're saying is headaches and migraines are actually something that if you actually do the TENS machine at the moment that they have a headache or a migraine, or the beginning of a migraine, it can actually stop the migraine coming on, and the headache will actually go away. In fact, some of the latest research actually showed that within 2 hours of doing the TENS machine, people's pain for headaches or migraines can decrease from down from pain to slight pain to no pain. So, if you do it consistently, you can actually reverse the presence of getting headaches and migraines as well. So it's amazing.
I love that. And because you are as well using essential oils and essences and herbs with all your EFT and vagus nerve, would you mind to share with people, because this is a big group of people who are using already essential oils, how they can apply it with vagus nerve machine? What can I call it? Machine? Is there a name for it?
Yes, I would say vagus. Yeah, it's because it's a TENS machine. So yeah, it's a machine. Yeah. So the wonderful thing is that when you're doing using the vagus nerve stimulation, you need to be sitting down. So it gives people a time out for 30 minutes to relax. What a perfect opportunity to have essential oils burning. To be able to be breathing in. And because essential oils are in your brain creating physical changes within less than 10 seconds, it's an incredible opportunity to combine the both together. So absolutely ideal situation to be using essential oils with the TENS machine. And so if you're looking for, depending on what you're aiming at and what you want to be able to do, but burning some essential oils that help with relaxation, like your lavenders or, even the oranges and those kind of things can actually help to relax you down. Things like, I love the concept of resilience, and I've got a particular blend of essential oils that I really like that brings a sense of strength to people. And that's actually got orange in it. It's got sage, pine, and cinnamon bark. And it's beautiful to put into your burner and burn, because people will just, cinnamon bark is great for people who get very stressed and overwhelmed. It just really relaxes. So that's a beautiful way to kind of do that. In terms of grounding and bringing people back into their body, things like cedar water is beautiful, and lemongrass, and orange. I add orange to everything. I love orange. And petitgrain is beautiful, and frankincense, and those are really lovely, bringing you back and just grounding you into your body, which gives you such a greater sense of presence, and then you're more energized and all that sort of stuff. With energy, I love using things like pine and lemon and rosemary and orange because they're a beautiful combination. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of stuff. And rosemary for aches and pains in the body. Rosemary is fantastic for bringing, improvement. In my naturopathic studies, when we were learning herbs, we learn about going and, picking rosemary off the tree, chucking it into a pot, boiling it all up, soaking in cloth, and then wrapping it around, when people hurt their shoulders and dislocate their shoulders, wrapping it around wherever ligaments have been stretched, and it will actually help the ligaments contract back. So pure essential oils of even rosemary, it's brilliant what rosemary can do on all levels. So yeah, in all of those ways, I think burning the essential oils that help support immune system, I guess, is another one that, of course, I absolutely love. I use eucalyptus, lemongrass, tea tree, lemon, pine, and neroli in boosting up immune system, and they are a beautiful combination. They're fabulous to have in the air, especially where I'm working. To be able to burn immune system during winter is great to just cleanse the air so that bugs don't get shared around with people. So there's lots of wonderful ways, depending on what you're working on, to be able to use essential oils with all of those.
Mm-hmm. And when you are talking about these oils, even rosemary, today I was teaching my European team about rosemary. And as you said, it's great for the body, for physical body, but as well for our mind. I love, actually, I'm diffusing right now. Before every call, I diffuse rosemary, basil, and bergamot essential oil.
Yes.
Now, when we are talking about that, when is the best time to heal?
The best time to heal.
Yeah,
yes.
When we relax, right?
That's
so
right.
As you said, just plug it in, the vagus nerve machine, use some essential oils, and relax for half an hour a day. Well, maybe you can do it even longer. It's not half an hour.
Yeah. So it is set for half an hour. I have done a little trial where I've done it for longer. And I'd have to say that you probably don't want to do it for too long. You could probably do a half hour in the morning and half hour at night. But yeah, in a block, I did it. I've tried it half an hour, I've tried an hour, and I've tried an hour and a half. Hour and a half was a bit kind of too much. I was like, okay, I wouldn't do that again. So do you know what I mean? But yeah, so the half hour is probably enough. One of my favorite things to do now is that I actually go to bed, put it on, and sometimes I even lie on my block, just, you know, the block from Deanna, and move that up and down while I'm actually getting it on my ears, and I just relax. And then when the half hour is over, I take them off and I'm out. I sleep beautifully, and it's amazing, because that's one of the other things. People have sleep issues. It can actually be because of the vagus nerve not working, because, yeah, it interferes. Like, we need to be able to sleep. Lots of healing, lots of repair, lots of growth, lots of wonderful things happen in our sleep. So vagus nerve, and that's, you think about the people who will say, oh, I've never been a good sleeper. I couldn't sleep from the time I was a child. There's every chance that their vagus nerve has been switched off, because there's things that cause the vagus nerve to be switched off. And one of them is insomnia. So if somebody hasn't slept from a small child, you know, they will need to do the vagus nerve. And in that situation, you're looking at long term. So a lot of things can be improved quite quickly. And by quickly, we'd say within 3 months. Some things might take 6 months. Something that's, say, chronic and long term that may be there, it might take 12 months to fully bring the body back into all of its state, I guess, of being its best version of itself. But you'll get improvements all the way. The other week I taught it here in Druin in class, and a lady went home and she has insomnia, and that night she got 4 hours straight. And then the next 3 nights she got 6 hours straight. That's the most sleep she's had in, she can't remember when. So she's absolutely excited by the impact it's had on her just instantly, which is amazing when that, you know, that quickly. So yeah, it's fabulous.
I bet you have lots of testimonials what you can share with people about vagus nerve tapping. So, you know, I have so many questions, but I'm going to give you last question.
Okay.
What is too much? Is there side effects? Do you think people can experience that? Or, because you said about half an hour to 1 hour max?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So the thing to be aware of is, if you've got a pacemaker, you need to get your doctor to say it's okay. And also, I think there's something else, just scanning my little, prompting my brain here. If you've actually got a cold, you know, you're actually sick, then don't do it for those days when it's there. And also with cancer, you can't, I mean, it makes lots of sense of why it would help. You just need to get your oncologist to verify, as well as the cardiologist, to say it's okay. For the most part, it should be okay. Do you mean there isn't a reason, but it's better to be safe and make sure that that's okay. So they're the precautions you need to be aware of. In terms of, if you do it for too long, you can get slightly a dullish kind of headache, and you can feel quite sort of sleepy and stuff afterwards. And some people may, so because it can help with epilepsy and all sorts. If you think of anything that's the electrical current in the body, it can actually help make improvements. So you do need to be aware that it can make you maybe a little bit lightheaded if you do it for too long, which is why they pretty much say 30 minutes is a pretty good time. And that's when I said before, when I did the hour and a half, I had like this little bit of a dull headache, and I felt a bit woozy. And I was like, yep, okay. That was too much. Yeah. That was too much. So, but, you know, I mean, it didn't last long. You know, that was probably 10 minutes or something, and then I was okay. So it's not long lasting. It doesn't cause damage, but that is just a bit too much. So we need to be able to know to keep it in a certain kind of radius of half an hour. Sometimes more is not always better. Sometimes just the right amount is good.
The same thing like with essential oils. It doesn't mean you put too much, it's going to work better. Less is more, right?
Yes.
Where people can find you, because when somebody's interested in either tapping or something what you're offering on your website, or free, you have a free classes or the videos, what they can do before they go into something, where they can find you.
Yeah, so my website is essenceofhealinginstitute.com, and on that page you will see lots of links to go. So my flower essence course and the Tappers Tribe, and on each of those, and the weight loss, tapping for weight loss that I've got, and on each of those pages there are little free downloads that people can get. So there's, on the weight loss one, there's a tapping for improving your energy through your body, and in there's a myth, what's the love myth of love, which is a whole lot of tapping and flower essences and all that kind of stuff in there. And there's also there's a 32-day getting real program that people can do, where they get a daily email that has tapping and information about how to just be, you know, be the best version of yourself. So there's lots of freebies that you can actually access from there as well. So yeah, there's lots of information that you can gain from just having a look there.
And as I said at the beginning, I've done tapping for the last 2 to 3 years, and it changed not only my physical being, but as well emotional and mental being. So I highly, highly recommend, go and check it out. Check out Leonie, because she has amazing material. And Leonie, last question, but not, is what kind of tip would you give everyone who is watching right now? Just one tip, where they should start?
Yeah, okay, good question. So I think, because I love emotions, I really feel that we need to start to understand the purpose of emotions, because the reality is our emotions are an internal guide. And to be able to do that, we really do need to be grounded, we need to be centered, we need to actually be calm. And so using things from flower essences to tapping to essential oils to supplements that actually support our body to be very healthy, grounded and balanced enables us to then utilize the emotions for exactly what they were designed to do, which is to be the internal guide for us to actually follow and work out why we feel the way that we do, which of course is my books and my card deck as well, and aiming to help us understand what it is that we're feeling, why we're feeling it, and then be able to work to resolve that productively, effectively, so that we can then move more and more into being all of who we can be, to be the very best version of ourselves, to live the life we really want to do. And I believe that's the beautiful part about emotions, is they are a thread that combines spirit, mental, physical all together, so that we are whole beings that can travel towards the direction we want the direction our soul is driving us to take us into. And by being able to combine it with everything that's available to us, including of course now vagus nerve, because it's so important to then have a healthy functioning vagus nerve, because that allows everything else to work as well. That would be my tip. Get grounded and use your emotions for what they're there for, which is a guidance system to live the life you really want.
Beautiful ending to this interview. And how many times did I tell you here, viewers, that I love social media? Because look at that, Australia, Canada are communicating together. I love that. So you don't have to be present somewhere at a certain moment. You can be staying at home, doing your vagus nerve, diffusing essential oils, listen to Leonie, have good time and relax in your bed. So there's so many different things what you can do while being on a 1 hour live call or a webinar. So take care of your body, as Jim Rohn says, because it's the only one place you have to live in. Leonie, thank you so much for your time, because this is a precious gift you're offering to the whole world, not only to people who are your clients there, but here you just gave us, I don't know, 45 minutes of your time. So thank you so much. This is very valuable and I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been fantastic. Thanks, Eva.
Thank you.